Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown again. It is Friday, the 29th of September, 2023. It's 3:04 p.m. I'm going to do a quick market wrap using HCSI software, just show you some of the things I look at. I'm going to read a small portion of the standard risk disclaimer. Any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. Because the market is closed, I'm going to update the data now, and it's pulling all of the ending stock and ETF data, market data down through Thinkorswim. This just takes a few seconds, and I'm not going to do a complete rebuild of the indexes and or a full update. I mean, it's just not necessary to do that at this time. So those have been processed. I'll get that in the background. I'll bring the designer up, click on industries. I'll rebuild the indexes in the group, which is rebuilding the industry groups. Takes about 30 seconds. And I'm not going to update the smart groups right now. So this is the view that I was showing earlier under C, under top-down stocks moving up and down. These are the $15 and up. You can see when I apply the filter that there are 100 stocks in here. These are the same stocks that I was looking at earlier, and I just want to point out a couple of things, and then I'll move on. First of all, in summary, I guess I should take a quick look at this is the SPY. And I was afraid this might happen today. The market gapped open, a big rush to get in. Look at the volume today. It was 137, 140% above normal, approximately. But it gapped open, and then traders started selling into it before long, and anybody who bought the gap open on the long side is underwater. Now let's take a look at QQQ. Same story here, gap open, traded up, and then started coming down. It did trade off of its low, and the composite closed up 18. I think it was up 165 at one point. But if we look over here, and I'm going to bring an arrow up, you can see where the daily range is on the QQQ. Closed well off of its high. Now if I go back to the SPY, and you can see that its intraday range is 2508. Now this really isn't a surprise considering what's going on in Washington and with interest rates and everything else. So I was kind of fearful of this, even though we had two positive VPA flags. It did follow through, it gapped open, but where it closes is what matters. And it was not a strong day, although the internals did end up, I'm looking at another screen, slightly negative it looks like. On the NYSE, the NASDAQ was about flat. Let's go back to this group of stocks here. And I'm going to sort on the industry percentage price change. The apparel footwear group did hold up. Renewable energy group did hold up also. But let's go down here, and you can see that there are several industry groups which turned negative throughout the day. Now I'm going to bring that spectrum analyzer up here, and you can see that Most of the stocks did hold up, or stayed positive, I should say. But we're going to get some insight here in a second. There were only 8 stocks that were down and 91 that were up. But when I switch to click on this and then click on this arrow, I'm going to go to that intraday range spectrum analyzer that I showed in the prior movie, and look where these stocks closed in their daily range. Now, 0 to 10%, 16 of them right here, 10 to 20%, 21, 20 to 30%, 18, 30 to 40% on the high end. Between 90 and 100, only one stock appeared in that category. 80 to 90 had 4 stocks, 5, 70 to 80, 60 to 70, there were 8, and so on. You can read this. So a lot of those chasing the gap and the early buy did not pay off for most of these stocks. You can see that. Now the application software group, what you can do here is you can isolate a group, and I'm going to change to the industry group, and then this tells me immediately where these stocks within the group closed, and 6 of them closed between 0 and 10% of their daily range. So these are the ones that, as you can see, I click on. This is hyperlinked over here. As I click on these, you can see what happened. Gapped open, traded up, and closed down at 9.93% of its daily range. Datadog. It closed at 6.17%. It generally, especially on these beaten down stocks, when there's a lot of early morning or pre-market enthusiasm, doesn't generally pay to chase these at the open. Let them open and see what happens. If they continue higher, you can always jump on, but boy, you better have good risk control in place. Okay, I just wanted to show you that, a few tricks where you can see how these stocks ended the day as far as their percent range. Yes, they were still up. They go in the advancing column in the advancers versus decliners. But they can still be losers because they were purchased at or near the open. Okay, I've flipped back to the industry groups and the HCSI analysis. This is on the percentage price change, but I want to go down here to number 3, demand supply, because what this combo does is it gives me the strongest stocks based upon advancing issues versus declining issues. Apparel, footwear, other hardware index, sporting goods, department store, and so on. You can see the advancers, and you can see the percentage advancing and the percentage declining. Now these numbers right here, I'm going to go all the way down. Let's see, anything above this was more than 1 to 1. These are flat advancers, or the same as decliners. Anything above here is a 1 to 1, or above 1 to 1. For example, this is 1.6 to 1 on computer hardware and storage, 8 advancers, 5 decliners. So this is where the strength was. Anything below this, these are flat, and then anything below 1, there were net losers as far as advancers versus decliners. I'm going to take the strongest group, 11 to 1, 22 to 2 on the apparel footwear, change to the industry group, and then I'm going to click on the quick pick. And if you remember from an earlier video, if you click on number 6, percentage price change up intraday, these are the stocks in the group that are up for the day. I'm going to take this filter off, and notice there's a lot more than 22 stocks. There are 35 stocks That's because a lot of these stocks are not trading for at least $5 or 100,000 shares. If I sort on this, you can see that some of these, look at the prices on these, they are not counted in the index. So if you want to see everything that's in the group, you have to release the filter. But I generally don't pay much attention to those. Now I'm going to reapply the filter, and you can see that there are 20 stocks in here. Quick read on this. There are 2 that close between 90 and 100%, and 1 that closed between 80 and 90%. So there was profit taking in this group today. Here's the strongest stock based upon the intraday range. And this is one that you may want to, I'm not recommending it, I'm saying you might want to put it in a watch list if you watch this over the weekend, because it gapped open, profit taking on Thursday. Today buyers came in and closed it near its high. I would certainly look up the news on this stock. I don't know anything about it, but there must have been some good earnings or some good news. The weekly chart looks strong. Here's a higher high, higher above this one, higher high here, and moved up sharply this week on the gap. Okay, let's take another look here at this one. Haynes brand, pretty much in a downtrend on the weekly. I would stay away from it unless you really like to bottom fish these, because look at the fundamentals, they're really bad. Still, we get the insight on the industries based upon supply and demand. And then you can go top down. Now I'm going to end this video. If I get a chance over the weekend, I'll do another one. I'm going to, future videos, I'm going to concentrate on different methods of prospecting using filters, smart groups, a lot of user smart groups and so on, so you can really get a feel for how I use a program. Everything I did in these first several videos is just a cursory exam of what the program can do, but there's a lot more to it, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on going forward as I build these videos showing you my daily process. Thanks for listening.